Hey guys, today we're driving the 2024 Audi RS7. This is the performance package, which means it has 621 horsepower, 627 pound-feet of torque from a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 and a 48-volt mild hybrid system. We have an 8-speed automatic transmission, putting all that power to the ground to all 4 wheels. Of course, quattro all-wheel drive. This thing is an absolute monster. Starting price on the RS7 Performance is $130,000. As tested, this is $153,000. We've got some pretty interesting options, which I will include in the description. We'll talk about them a little bit later in this video. But let's quickly walk you guys around this, talk about what it's been like to drive this week so far, and we'll take it on the road and give you guys some driving impressions. Really deep, rumbly exhaust from this 4-liter twin-turbo V8. These 22-inch wheels are absolutely massive. Front brakes, just ridiculously big. This is not a light car. Weighs close to 5,000 pounds. This Nardo Gray looks absolutely fantastic. And of course, my favorite thing about the Audi RS7 is that it is a liftback. Gosh, there truly isn't an angle where this thing looks bad. It is such a good looking car. Surprisingly expensive when this showed up this week. No spare tire, of course. We've got a fixed flat kit in the back, but lots of trunk space back here, comparable to some SUVs these days. We just had a BMW X6 M50i, and it seems about similar in terms of luggage compartment space. I'd much rather drive this. Carbon fiber front and rear diffusers, blacked out exhaust, 285/30 R22 Continental tires, one of their more aggressive summer tires. Feels really good on the road so far. These are the Sport Contact 7s. I'll hop on the back seat, see what rear seat space shakes out to be like. I'm 5'10". This is my driving position. Really soft, really comfortable seating. Good amount of headroom, even with this sloping liftback design. Cup holders, armrest. Audi does such a good job with their interiors these days. They're doing a better job than Mercedes and BMW with their physical controls, even though a lot of these are kind of touch sensitive with a bit of a haptic feedback to them. They really make this interior easy to operate and easy to use. We've done plenty of videos reviewing the infotainment system, the user interface. Climate controls has its own screen. Love the piano black in this. It's actually really pretty nicely done. It looks about right, and it's not on too many very high traffic areas. Simple, lots of cool little red accents. The perforated steering wheel feels really good in hand. Let's quickly pop the hood, and then we'll go for a drive. Tedward's in town this week. He's got my S2000 over there. He's probably going to be following us around on this drive. See how well he can keep up in that thing. Audi always does a great job with their engine bays. Not a lot of space, but it gets wedged in there, and oh boy, it is a performer. Nice to see the addition of a mild hybrid setup too. Completely seamless startup, no starter noise, and adds just a bit of torque fill when you want it. Let's just take one more walk around this thing and appreciate the lines, the wide haunches, the design. It all comes together so nicely. This has got to be one of the best looking cars coming out of Germany these days. The GoPro, of course, with its wide angle isn't doing it justice. But let's hop inside. We'll pour over the Monroney for just a minute. I'll put some B-roll over it so it makes it interesting. And we'll talk about some of the crazy options on this car. Almost $20,000, or actually over $20,000 in options here. All right, so here's our window sticker. 2024 Audi RS7 Performance. The matte carbon package is $76.50. That includes the 22-inch wheels, the black exterior trim, the carbon front and rear diffusers, side skirts, all that good stuff. The Bang & Olufsen sound system, $4,900. We'll have to do a quick sound system test later on in this video. The executive package, $27.50. That's leather, head-up display, soft closing doors. Night vision assist is $2,500. Driving assistance package is $22.50. And the individual contour seat package is $1,500. RS Sport exhaust, $1,000. $1,300 for the gas guzzle tax for a total price of $152,745. This is all-wheel steering, a sport rear differential. We've got RS1, RS2 modes, and just a regular mode. We can change our gauge cluster view here. We can see G meter, a map. There you go. We'll leave it on this G meter. This is fun. I like that. And we'll go to RS1 mode, which should put everything in its softest setting, but with a loud engine exhaust. And then RS2 puts everything in its most aggressive drive modes. And we can see that here. Nice. Everything's in sport, present, sport. Cool. CarPlay connects wirelessly. This infotainment is pretty responsive, pretty easy and simple to use. Everything's worked pretty well this week. We've got good storage right here for your phone and a few other things. Water bottle cup holders. The shifter feels very, very nice in hand. Love that. Press the P button to put into park. Parking brakes right there. Ergonomically, this cabin and interior works really well. And one of my favorite things about Audis is they have this rotating reverse camera. All right, let's just start in our normal drive mode, and we'll ramp things up from there. For how massive this car is, turning radius is fantastic with that rear wheel steer. All of your inputs and controls are nicely weighted. This is very quiet, very menacing at low speeds. And when you open up the exhaust, you get a very satisfying rumble. We'll do that right now. Head-up display changes, shows us engine oil temperature. It is insanely quick. A little bit of turbo lag off the line. We have a sport mode for the transmission. A few burbles out of the exhaust there too. Really nice responsive paddle shifters. The suspension's actually pretty soft. It's so soft, the whole front end lifts up when you get into the throttle. Again, you got to appreciate Audi's interior design and their user interface. 2-seat memory settings, beautifully integrated into this door panel. Mirror controls are simple. You have headlight buttons. Cruise control is right here. You can turn on and off your adaptive cruise with and without lane guidance, which is nice right there on the stock. Wiper speed, parking cameras. I mean, this is how you do a modern luxury car interior. It's all very, very well laid out. It's intuitive. I just got into this car earlier today, and I already know how to use everything. Granted, I'm cheating a little bit because I've already driven a bunch of Audis with the same exact interior, but it's well designed. You guys have heard me complain about a lot of BMW and Mercedes interiors recently, and I don't have a lot of complaints about this Audi. Ride quality, even on these 22-inch wheels, is quite good, quite soft. As a luxury car, this does a pretty good job having that split personality between insane power and performance and comfort and luxury. There's a little bit of noise over bumps, over expansion joints, potholes on these 22-inch wheels with summer performance tires, but that's to be expected. I think the wheels look so cool, it's probably worth going for them. 22s are maybe a little bit large for this car, factoring in its brake size, but they are an insane looking wheel from Audi. And usually I'm not a big fan of skinny little sidewalls, but in this case, these wheels really do make the car look so, so good. All right, we're in RS1. Let's go into RS2. This will stiffen up the suspension. Put our gearbox into sport mode. just insanely fast. Let's let traffic get up ahead of us here a little bit. And we'll see what this can do around an entrance ramp. A little bit of intervention there from stability control. I can hear some things clicking away down in the pedal box, but really good mechanical grip. Oil temp's getting hot here, 236 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a true Autobahn burner. Pretty smooth, pretty seamless at speed. Bit of turbo lag once you dip into it. But you rev this engine out and it pulls like crazy. Audi's high-performance cars are a little bit more subdued. Their sound, their tuning, their calibration, they're not as aggressive and outlandish as their counterparts from BMW and Mercedes. And I first thought that was a little bit boring, but the more time you spend with these cars, the more you appreciate their level of refinement. And they just make for really, really good daily drivers. Let's put us back into normal mode here. We'll cruise here on the highway some. We'll set our speed. Engage adaptive cruise assist with lane guidance. Doing a pretty good job negotiating this corner. It's asking me to put my hands back on the wheel. It senses when my hand is on the wheel. Blind spot monitoring there. Really nice light. Cruising here at 75 miles an hour, about 1900 RPM. Easy to cancel, just push the stalk forward, resume, pull it back, skip 5 mile-an-hour increments with this double click. All right, there's your adaptive cruise control review. Push it all the way back to cancel the system. Let's go to RS2 mode, and let's see how this thing pulls. The brakes are absolutely nuts. Wow, it's fast. We've driven this 4-liter V8 in a lot of different vehicles, a lot of different iterations. Most recently, spent some time in the new Porsche Cayenne S. And it's amazing how different it feels in different applications. Unbelievable performance. Just unbelievable. I'm not sure if that was launch control or just a boosted launch. But the way the differential, the traction control system, all just make it work so seamlessly. Audi's used to understeer. Now with four-wheel steer and a little bit of clever technology, that's no longer really the case. They just get the job done quickly, efficiently. A couple years ago, I drove an Audi RS7 on a racetrack around M1 concourse. And although, okay, maybe an RS6 isn't really designed to go on track, it did it admirably well. I was very impressed with its balance, its lack of understeer, and how well it just held up to multiple laps on track and quite a bit of abuse. Even in its stiffest mode, this is actually still pretty compliant, pretty comfortable. Trying to lead Tedward on a good route here, and there's just a little bit of traffic today, so apologies for the timing of this video. This is a little bit later in the afternoon than I usually film, so we're trying to do our best to find a good open section of road, but sometimes not a whole lot you can do. one of those cars that's almost a little bit too fast for the street. And the crazy thing is just how easy it is to extract that performance. I've never really been a big fan of these gauges. They're just all wrong. Everything's opposite. It's very strange. It's counterintuitive to read, but I guess it gets the job done. We'll post back into sport mode here. Little chicane. There's that four-wheel steer doing its job. The rear diff hooking us up. Gosh, these brakes are just monstrous. Do a quick 0 to 60 here. That was launch control. This thing is just unflappable. So many G-forces. My phone's moving around in there, getting tossed around over the wireless charging element. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I like how Audi's drive modes operate too. I mean, you can quickly select different drive modes down here. You can work with your RS1, RS2 modes. You can leave everything in normal. You can quickly just change your transmission programming by pulling back on the shifter. Keep your revs up a little bit higher in sport mode or lower in drive. It's an easy car to adjust and change on the fly depending on your driving situations, preferences, but also just about every drive mode within the interface is pretty good for most situations. Considering that this does have a 48 volt mild hybrid system, there is a bit more turbo lag here than I was expecting. So let's see, let's roll into it here. 3,500 RPM. Oops, I hit the kickdown switch, so we downshifted one more than I wanted to. All right, so 3,500 RPM. It just takes a minute for power to come on. But at higher revs, let's try a third gear, 5,000 RPM. It's pretty responsive. That's nice. Back into sport mode. Get a nice little red light here. Get debrief with Tedward.
Well, boy, that Audi's quick.
It's so fast.
Holy shit.
I know, it's nuts. It's almost too quick for the street.
I have about a fifth of the torque.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Launch control is insane. A lot of turbo lag, but you're having fun. I can see it smile.
I'm having a good time.
S2000's no slouch. It rips. Little wiggle from the rear end there. Yeah, Audi's new rear limited slip diff is just, it's magic. It's very, very impressive how well it puts power down. Gives you just that perfect amount of rotation on throttle too. It sets you up perfectly to exit the corner. A little bit of body roll here, but not terrible. Okay. Anyway, you guys get the idea. The RS7 is pretty nuts, pretty fast, very impressive, very expensive. This is actually a little bit more than I thought it was going to be. I saw that we were getting this in, and I thought we'd kind of be in that, you know, maybe 130, 140 range, but 153 grand as tested. It's a good chunk of change, but gosh, this is a very impressive car. I love living with it on a daily basis. It looks fantastic. It's a supercar in a four-door package. And the fact that it's a liftback is just effortlessly cool. I like the Audi RS7. I always have. This is definitely the best one I've ever driven. this latest is their greatest. And I think we'll leave it at that. Let's park. We'll chat with Tedward a little bit. Curious to get his thoughts and impressions on the S2000. But, whew, what a beast, what a monster. Look at this turning radius here. Watch this. It's just rotating on the rear wheel. It's amazing. Sounds like it's rubbing a little bit too. That's okay. So easy to park. Yeah.
Your mobile device is still in the vehicle.
I mean, the S2000's no slouch.
Dude, it still hooks up and goes. It's just that, like, if we're doing 65 and you take off, like,
Yeah, you just can't be in the right gear for that.
it's not possible.
Yeah.
It's like I have to rebrand my brain to get 9,000.
Yeah.
So like
it's weird.
on ramps, I'm like, oh wait, I'd be like, oh, I'm too low. Now I'm out of VTEC. Now I'm like, oh, now I'm sitting at like 8,600.
It's
like,
perfect. It's good.
It's like, I could use a little more. And at the end of the day, I don't even care. It's like I have to work for it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's making me work, and I'm having a good time.
And there's a rev limiter there for a reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can bounce off at Honda things, you know.
Dude, it only shifts perfectly at when you're like, I feel I'm only not clunky when I'm like slamming it off at $9,000.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
I'm trying to drive it nicely around town, I'm like, ooh.
It loves to just go all the way up to 9. It puts you back at 6, which is just where VTEC begins. It's a joy.
It's a little magical toy.
Yeah, it's a fun thing.
Yeah. Got a lot of grip with these tires.
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
these tires they're cheater tires. These aren't even the right size tires. They're hand-me-downs from the BRZ. We're supposed to have 225s in the rear and like 205s or 215s in the front.
Yeah, it's pretty outrageous. I mean,
Yeah.
it feels like it's on slicks.
All right, guys. Well, let's wrap things up here on the RS7. I think I've pretty much given you all the thoughts I could muster. Maybe let's do a quick sound system test with this Bang & Olufsen for almost $5,000. It better be pretty darn good. All right, let's queue up our sound system test playlist. We got a volume knob down here, and we'll head out. We get volume and track selection controls right here on the steering wheel. Very intuitive, very easy to use. Guys, there's a taste of that Bang & Olufsen sound system. If you're already spending $130,000, you might as well swing for it. Might as well go for it. What's another or 5,000 bucks. These very, very awesome looking tweeters that rise up out of the dashboard. Sounds good too. All right, that's gonna be a wrap for this video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Stay tuned for more videos on this RS7 on the Winding Road Magazine YouTube channel. We'll have a day and probably a night drive on that. And of course, go check out Tedward's video on the S2000. That's it for this one. We'll see you guys later. Take care.